Hi, it's Nancy Guberti, functional medicine specialist and nutritionist, and I'm so glad you're here with me today as we go through the video on glyphosate awareness. So, glyphosate awareness is a major concern, and it's because it's really unsafe on any plate for anyone, including our pets. By now, you will have received the email with the food testing results, as well as the scientific research and reasons for concern for anyone to consume glyphosate and the chronic disease and degenerative disorders that are associated with it. If we look at this, we see that it's found in 700 plus foods. And at the rate it's going, we are going to unfortunately see cross-contamination with even some crops such as oats that are going to even be found in our organic oats. So wherever we see a product that was grown with Monsanto products or Roundup or have been sprayed with glyphosate, which is the pre-harvest, we know that we are ingesting this super toxic chemical linked to cancers and many degenerative disorders. So if we look at the typical American diet shown in this slide, it shows the hamburger bun would have the wheat that had this contamination, as well as our mustard and our ketchup. Anything that has high fructose corn syrup, and even cane sugar is also affected, and also in our beverages. Then we want to go a step further and see, okay, well, how is our food being cooked? So French fries, hamburgers, are they using genetically modified canola oil? What oil is being used, and does it have this toxin? In addition, if you are consuming animal protein, then you have to also find out how those animals were fed. If it was grass-fed, grass-finished, and there's a big difference between the two, you always want grass-finished. If that's the case, then you're good. But if the animals were fed GMO corn and soy, and they, in addition, got antibiotics and growth hormones, then you know that that is very toxic and something that you don't want to consume. So you also have to look at what, if you're going to eateries, what are they purchasing and how are they cooking it? And if you could at least control what's going on in your own household, then that will reduce your glyphosate exposure significantly. So just when you first wake up in the morning and you're putting together your first meal of the day or looking for something to eat, are you eating glyphosate at the beginning of the day? These are the questions you should be asking yourself. I always like to remind people that ask yourself, what is this food going to do for me? Is it going to nourish my skin, my hair? Is it going to give me energy? Is it going to give me mental clarity? Or is it going to go to all my problem spots, as well as make me lethargic, headachy, achy? And now we'll have to add an additional question and ask, am I eating glyphosate, which is a silent killing super toxic chemical? So if you're having Cheerios, anything from Kellogg's, oatmeal, non-organic bread, tap water, these are the products that glyphosate is in. So the more aware you become and empowered with the truth, then you're able to make the best choices. So you want to look at these major corporations like Quaker Oats, Lucky Charms, coming from General Mills and Kellogg's and your Cheerios. they all contain glyphosate, so that would be on your avoid list so you don't become victim to this silent killing chemical. Unfortunately, glyphosate is not on the label. So you could actually see this label here. For example, we use Cheerios label where it says gluten-free, so you think you're doing the right thing, and then it says does not contain any genetically modified ingredients, but they're not informing you that it contains glyphosate, which is the pre-harvest spray. Even Ben and Jerry's, everyone does have a right to know what's in their food. We are the consumer. We are paying for these products and they're making a profit, but yet glyphosate is linked to cancers, celiac, gluten intolerance, liver and kidney issues, degenerative disorders, neurological issues, autism, as well as depression and lots of mental health issues. What's interesting here is that lots of people believe they have a gluten intolerance, and it could either be gluten intolerance or glyphosate intolerance, or it could be intertwined because many times the wheat is going to be sprayed with glyphosate, and it is linked to celiac and gluten intolerance and even irritable bowel syndrome. So, lots of our gut issues can be glyphosate related, since it does destroy the good bacteria on our gut lining. So we really want to know what products this is in and stay away from it, and think about individuals that are, getting ready to conceive, and then pregnant women and the newborn, and what are they getting? Are they putting glyphosate into that unborn child? And even after, when they're breastfeeding, if they choose to, or if they don't choose to breastfeed, can it be in the formula? And very well, it usually is. So we really want to be aware of what's going on, because it is really toxic. So there has been tests done, and it shows links to so many different conditions, and they're not healthy conditions. And once our gut is affected by our food, be it candida or the imbalance of good and bad bacteria, that's the core of our health. And then from there, it just keeps going into other areas of our body, and it's a big problem. So yes, there has been a cancer risk. The International Agency for Research on Cancer determined it was a probable carcinogen, and then there was a court case that came out, and Monsanto had to pay $289 million in this landmark Roundup lawsuit. Unfortunately, there is a victim involved, a gentleman who, was brave enough to go after this really big corporation, and have to give him thanks for getting this information out in mainstream media. And, people would say, well, he got awarded all that money. He may very well never be able to spend it, because he does have cancer and all the complications that come with that and the treatment. So what I would hope that comes from all of this is that we gain the awareness and gain the empowerment to move forward and not become victims ourselves or our loved ones. Don't let this man's pain go in vain, because it really is a silent killer. And many years now that it was known as a probable carcinogen. So let's just, look at the facts here. There's been a high incidence of different cancers. There's a high incidence of autism, mental health, degenerative diseases, and there's been a lot of glyphosate put into our foods and GMOs, and truth be told, this is toxic even to the brain, and we have a lot of dementia as well. And we look at lifestyle and we look at food intake for the whole lifespan of an individual, and many times, the majority of the times, it's not healthy choices, and it is full of toxins and ones that we are not even aware of. So this super toxic, silent killing chemical has been linked to Parkinson's, ALS, MS, Alzheimer's, and so much more. And this is why I'm very passionate about having you learn what it's in and really becoming aware and knowing what you can do. So there were tests done, and it showed, even from so many countries across Europe, that over 44% were tested positive. And luckily, we do have a non-invasive first morning urine test that checks your levels for glyphosate. And hopefully you received the email that showed you the lab test results that I use to test for this. And it's something that I include in the panel for dementia. I include it for neurological disorders, mental health, obesity, really for everyone that comes into the office and practice that we have here, because it's linked to so many chronic illnesses that can negatively affect one's life. So this is being very proactive. And this roundup isn't stopping anytime soon. So we really have to be consumer savvy. But this is how we can get glyphosate. It's virtually almost everywhere in our food chain. So you have to be really choose healthier what you're putting into your body. So it's in the crops, genetically modified, non-organic. The farm animals are consuming it, in addition to getting growth hormones and antibiotics. That all of this together is a toxic cocktail. And then it goes into our baby and children's foods, as well as the baby formula. It could be in the tap water. It could be in the condiments. It could be in so many different food products. And this is why I really want you to become your best health advocate and be proactive and get your glyphosate levels checked. At least that can give you peace of mind if they're low. But if they're not low, that can at least let you know that there are steps to take, that you could move forward and start removing this toxic chemical. I hope that this has empowered you to become your best health advocate. And remember, your health is worth it because you are worth it. Bye now.